I would like to call the Board of Directors meeting of the Des Moines Public Schools to order for May 2nd, 2017. Please take the roll.
Ms. Boesen? Here. Natasha Newcomb? Here. Ms. Langford?
Here.
Ms. Caldwell-Johnson?
Here.
Ms. Ellsburn?
Here.
Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Barron?
Here.
The first item on our agenda this evening is approval of the agenda. Are there any special requests to pull any items? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion and a second to approve the agenda as posted.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion from Boesen and a second from Anderson to approve tonight's agenda. Please vote. Motion carries 7-0. We have two sets of minutes for approval this evening. The first is for the April 18th, 2017 regular meeting. May I have a motion and a second to approve the April 18th minutes?
I'll move approval.
We have a motion and a second to approve the April 18 minutes. Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, please vote. Motion carries 7-0. I would now entertain a motion and a second to approve the April 26 special meeting minutes.
Move approval.
We have a motion from Barron and a second from Langford to approve the April 26 minutes. Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, please vote. Motion carries 7-0. The next item on our agenda is district recognitions, and I'll turn the meeting over to Dr. Ahart.
Good evening, Board. I'm pleased to share two recognitions tonight. First, our Findlay Counseling Department. We value the important role that our counseling program play in our schools and the critical support that counselors provide to our students. That is why we are continuing to find ways to improve and raise our standards to the highest level. This year, the American School Counselor Association has certified Findlay Elementary School as a recognized ASCA model program, or RAMP school. This designation recognizes schools that are committed to delivering a comprehensive, data-driven school counseling program and an exemplary educational environment. Of the nearly 140,000 K-12 schools in the nation, only 650 have earned this level of counseling excellence. In fact, only 6 schools in all of Iowa have this recognition, and 4 of those, Findlay, along with Brubaker, King, and Madison, are here in Des Moines Public Schools. To talk more about what goes into attaining the recognition and what it means for our students, I'd like to invite Heather Court, our elementary counseling specialist, Principal Barb Adams, and Counselor Jackie Boehner to please join me and share a few words. I'm not sure, Barb may not be here. No? All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Heather.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak before you. Again, as Dr. Ahart said, my name is Heather Court, and I'm the elementary counseling specialist. And this is the second year in a row that one of our elementary counselors has achieved RAMP status for excellence in her program. Jackie Boehner leads the Findlay Elementary Counseling Program. And as was mentioned, RAMP stands for Recognized ASCA Model Program, and ASCA is the American School Counselor Association. And they developed the framework and student standards or mindsets and behaviors to which all school counseling programs should be aligned. Only 104 schools from across the country achieved RAMP status this year. Like Jackie, RAMP counselors are tireless advocates for students and families. They're also student-centered and data-driven, so everything from how a counselor's day is scheduled to the % of time they spend delivering the various components of their model or of their program, to collecting and analyzing data that answer the most critical question of how students are different as a result of the counseling program, is all part of the application process and what it means to align to the model. Here in Des Moines, we're continuing to work towards aligning all of our school counseling programs, elementary through high school, with the model, because we know it's what's best for all of our students. From kindergarten through high school, school counselors play a vital role in helping to increase graduation rates and improve academic achievement. I'll let Jackie tell you more about the work that she and her team at Findlay do to help all students develop the social, emotional, academic, and career knowledge and skills to be successful in school, work, and in life. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And as they said, my name is Jacqueline Boehner, and I'm the school counselor at Finley Elementary School. One of the biggest things I do as a school counselor is I develop a data-driven program that focuses on the attendance, behavior, and achievement of all students. But one thing that I think sets Finley apart from other elementary schools, not only in Des Moines, but across the state of Iowa, is the college and career culture that we have created in our own school. And as a school counselor, not only have I been able to team up with nonprofit community associations or organizations such as I Have a Dream, but myself as a counselor, I've been able to develop and deliver school counseling classroom lessons based on career development. We've had 2 career days annually for the past few years for all of our students where we have community members come in. And I have also worked with small groups on growth mindset as well as a number of other things. But one thing that goes to heart for me, and I love Finley so much, my own children who are here today and go there, by the time they go to middle school, they will have visited at least 5 colleges, which is amazing to me. But I am very happy to receive this recognition and to stand before you today. Thank you. Thank you.
And our second recognition. For the past 5 years, PBS, Public Broadcasting System, has honored teachers across the country who are making great use of technology and media in their classrooms. A PBS Digital Innovator is selected from each state for their efforts. This is not only an award, but an opportunity for these educators to take advantage of professional development opportunities and resources to further their successful efforts. This year, I'm pleased to share that the PBS Digital Innovator is one of our own, Katie Miller, an English teacher at Central Academy. I'm also pleased to note that this is the second year in a row that the Iowa recipient of this honor was a DMPS educator, as last year Joe McWright from Stowe Elementary was recognized. To share a little about this program and the good work that has been recognized, I'd like to ask Katie Miller and Central Academy's director Jessica Gogarty to join me, as well as our special guests from Iowa Public Television, Ken Harrison, Molly Phillips, and Angela Hyatt. Come on down.
Good evening. I get the pleasure to watch Katie Miller teach a lot. And it's wonderful because she is so expressive and her students are so involved with each other around the work. And so I'm not going to speak more about that because I can answer probably tons of questions, but I think we should leave it to our experts who selected Katie for this award. Molly?
Well, we didn't get to select the winner, but PBS did, even a higher honor, I would say. So the PBS Digital Innovator program exemplifies best practices for technology in the classroom and fits well with IPTV's mission, which is to educate, inform, enrich, and inspire Iowans by providing innovative, high-quality educational services and digital resources, as well as our unsurpassed educational programming. Iowa Public Television joins PBS in recognizing Katie Miller as the classroom changemaker, a teacher who is skillfully integrating digital media and resources into her classroom in a way that sparks the love of learning for her students. We look forward to working with Katie in the coming year and strengthening the connection between educator, community, and our statewide public television. So we want to congratulate Katie Miller.
Well, I just want to say thank you, first of all, to PBS, also to Superintendent Ahart and all of you, because you are partially responsible for this in the creation of the Trailblazers program. So for the last 2 years, I've been a Trailblazer. For those that aren't familiar with it, it's a group of teachers who've been challenged who like using technology, who come together to share their ideas. And so Senora McWright put this idea in my head. And one of the things that I was asked to do is to explain what is a digital innovator. And for me, it's not being a digital ninja. I will never know more than my students do. And I walk into that space knowing that and asking them, how do you need this delivered? This is what we need to do together. How do you want it? And so we're always changing. They're very adaptable. My first plan crashed and burned, and we walked in, and they said it's not working, and I said, okay, go back to your tables and figure out why. And within 5 minutes, they had troubleshot every one of those issues that I would have in my previous lifetime tried to fix on my own. The second thing is SRG and some of the other programs have really changed the way I think about teaching. I was not a believer in the beginning, but I think that innovation is going to be the way that we make it work really, really well by allowing students to have more control on their end with it. And I think that's where we need to go. So I just want to say thank you so very much for giving me this opportunity, and PBS rocks. So.
They tell me you're supposed to shoot down, so you get the best source. Get a good picture? No, just gotta use a Roosevelt. There we go. There we go.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We'll now move to consent item 1.3. We allow any person the opportunity to speak to the board for 5 minutes following the presentation of an agenda item. If anyone wishes to speak to an agenda item, please go to the information table to sign up. Remarks must be germane to the agenda, and we ask that you avoid reference to personalities and character attacks, as those types of comments serve no productive purpose. As a reminder to the board and the public, the board will not engage in discussion or deliberation with the speaker regarding comments made to agenda items. Discussion and deliberation will remain among board members at the board table, with speakers' comments informing said discussion, deliberation, and determination as deemed necessary. We appreciate your input. Ms. Ellsburn, I believe you have the consent motion.
I do. I move that the board approve the consent items in accordance with the recommended action for each item on the consent agenda, including bills previously authorized, certified, and approved for payment by the board secretary in the amount of $5,212,764.10, and procurement card transactions in the amount of $941,303.08.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion from Ellsburn and a second from Boson. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Consent agenda passes 7-0. The next item on our agenda is item F1, open enrollment late applications for denial. Superintendent Ahart, would you please introduce the matter?
Yeah, you'll see on your agenda there are 4 applications that have been submitted for approval that policy has required us to deny.
Is there a motion and a second to deny the late applications for open enrollment?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Ellsburn and a second from Barron. I don't believe we have any speakers on this item. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second to deny the late applications. Please vote. Motion carries 7-0. The next item on our agenda is open enrollment late applications for denial. I'm sorry. Open enrollment appeals for denial. Superintendent Ahart?
Yes, again, these are appeals to denied open enrollment applications, and that were reviewed by our staff and are being denied based on district policy.
I would entertain a motion and a second to deny the open enrollment applications. I'm sorry, appeals for denial.
I'll move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Boson and a second from Barron. I believe we have speakers on this item. The first is Mindy Royster. If you could please come to the mic and provide your name and address for the record.
My name is Mindy Royster, 4109 Columbia Street, Des Moines. Thank you for giving me the time to speak this evening. I'm here on behalf of my daughter, Brooklyn Royster. She is currently a 5th grader at Walnut Street Elementary here in downtown. Her feeder school will be Meredith Middle School. We had put an appeal in to request that she be let to go to Woodside Middle School in the Sadell Community District. And we were denied that on April 7th. So I was wanting to speak tonight to appeal that decision. We live just 5 houses from the Sadell line, and there are several different reasons why we would like her to attend Woodside Middle School. The first being that we want to, based on her academics, Brooklyn has been used to being in a small classroom setting. At Walnut Street, she's had 18 students in her class the last 2 years. And I want to keep that because I think that's the environment that she needs to do well in. And I have met with Sadell and staff at Woodside, and they do have that environment for her. They let me know that the 2017-18 class size is very small, so she would be able to continue that if she was able to go to Woodside. I feel she needs this environment. She has had difficulty with her reading throughout her elementary years, and she had to be placed on an IEP in 3rd grade because she was behind in both fluency and comprehension. She has worked very hard on her reading to increase her scores on both the district and state assessments, but we have discovered that she has difficulty with standardized testing. She has been considered not proficient with her reading and math, but she excels in the classroom. And I believe that is based on she has a small classroom environment, and she is able to thrive in that environment. We live very close to Woodside, so she has attended several events at Woodside. She's been involved with their basketball program. She was on their basketball team this last year. She's done sports camps, she's done carnivals, and we know several teachers, school board members, and staff at Woodside that she would be comfortable with. Being familiar with the school and the adults within the school would help her academically because she would continue to get the small classroom environment, and she would be comfortable with the staff that would be there to help her. The second reason we are asking her to attend Woodside is based on being socially accepted and comfortable. Brooklyn is a very shy student. She has trouble opening up. She gets very nervous about things, and especially in bigger groups and bigger classroom sizes, and that's what I'm worried with at the middle school level. She has dealt with a few bullying issues, and she knows some students at Woodside that she would be going in with that are on her sports teams that she would be comfortable with. We live so close to Woodside. She has met other Sadell students that live on our street and down the street, so she would be able to walk with them, go to school with them, and have somebody that she would know going into elementary school. The final reason that we are asking for her to attend Woodside is for transportation reasons for our family. If she is able to go to Woodside, it's 5 houses down, and she could get on the bus that comes at the end of our street, and they would take her to and from school. Being that our feeder school is Meredith, and we're not close to Meredith, we're like 4.5 miles away, we would not be able to get busing systems from the Des Moines Public Schools for her. Both my husband and I work full-time jobs, and we would not be able to pick her up at 3 o'clock. I know that she would be safe going to and from school if she could walk down the street to get on the bus for Woodside and to come home from Woodside. I believe that Woodside is our best option to ensure that her safety is met, and she will feel comfortable on the school bus because she has friends that ride it. We also know several families in the Sadell district that she would be able to get rides to and from activities from school as well. My hope for this appeal is that you will listen carefully to the 3 reasons that I have stated for my daughter. When we received the letter about her not being able to attend Woodside, she was very upset. She is already nervous about going into middle school. She needs an environment that she is comfortable with and that she can thrive in. and I believe the best fit would be for her to go to Woodside. She will still have that small classroom size for academics. She will already be familiar with the teachers and staff that are there. She will be able to have a good set of friends to go to school with, and she would be able to get to and from school safely on the bus. Please consider these reasonings when making your decision about her attending Woodside Middle School. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here. Are there any comments or questions from the board? Yes, Anderson.
Oops, sorry. Would she not be able to get busing, I guess?
When I talked to, I was
I
going to say,
think
when
there's
I talked to him, I said no.
when I look at the comments, I'm wondering if there was some confusion between, because the neighborhood school is Harding, but that's not an IB school, which is why Meredith is on the list. So we'll reach out and double check that with you
Okay.
as far as the transportation goes, because it looks like there's some misinformation
Okay.
there.
Other board questions? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second to deny the open and, for the same one.
Am I dead? Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're correct. We have a second speaker this evening, Kristen Pear. Is that correct? You could state your name and address for the record.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kristen Pear, address 2151 East Leland Avenue. I'm here for the same reason. We got a denial for our son to open enrollment to Carlisle School District. When we originally moved to Iowa 3 years ago, we moved to Carlisle, and we had the assumption that that's where we would be until we decided to go elsewhere. It was my father-in-law's house, and due to unfortunate circumstances, his house foreclosed, we had to move. Our son has been in daycare in Carlisle as long as we've been here. My daughter has been there since she was 6 weeks old. He attends Carlisle Elementary for preschool, and the bus picks him up at the daycare, takes him to school, returns him when he's done, and we pick him up in the evening. We don't have family out here. We don't have other means of transportation to take our kids. The fact that they're together in school or in daycare, makes them happier because she wants her brother. She wants to be with her brother. My work schedule doesn't, I work at the hospital, so my hours are all kinds of crazy. So it's what we want for our son. He's comfortable with the people in the daycare. He's been there for 3 years. He's comfortable with his friends and the teachers in Carlisle. And it's just what we've done for the last 3 years. I don't feel like, I guess I came prepared with a huge letter for everybody, but this is nothing I've ever had to fight before. When we enrolled him in preschool there, we were pretty much told that if he went to preschool here, it would be no problem for him to attend school there through elementary and whatnot. So we didn't think it was going to be an issue. So it was pretty upsetting for our entire family, especially him, knowing that all of his friends go there. Then, the kids in daycare, most of them go to preschool together. So they're together all day long. And, most likely he would be with some of those kids into kindergarten. And we just hope that you guys reconsider the appeal. We would love nothing more than for our son to be where he's at, where he's comfortable at, and with the people that he trusts. And I hope you guys reconsider your appeal on that. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Thank you. So we do have a motion and a second on the table to deny the appeals this evening. If there's no other discussion, please vote. The motion carries 6 yes with 1 abstention. And I believe that for our first speaker, Ms. Royster, I believe that there probably needs to be some follow-up around transportation.
Yep, we will do that.
Okay, great. Thank you. The next item on our agenda this evening is item number F3, naming at Roosevelt High School baseball complex entrance. I'll ask Mr. Barron to speak to this item as he and the committee have convened, and I believe they have a recommendation for us.
We do. The naming committee, comprised of Ms. Anderson and Natasha Newcomb and myself, met Wednesday after our work session, and it was a brief discussion, but I would say there's a clear direction to move this forward. This is a request to name the entrance to the Roosevelt High School baseball complex for William Barton, who was a lawyer here in Des Moines, longtime supporter of Roosevelt High School and a tremendous baseball fan. Died suddenly just last year. The family, as you may recall from last board meeting, wishes to make a contribution to the district and spearhead something in their husband and father's honor. And so the naming committee does recommend that the board approve this request.
So we do have a recommendation from the naming committee. And because that's a committee recommendation, we don't need a motion, but we do need to have a second. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion from the committee and a second from Boesen regarding the naming at Roosevelt High School. Is there any additional questions, comments? I don't believe we have any speakers on this item. Anything else from the board? Hearing nothing, please vote. Motion carries 7-0. So we will make sure that this information is passed along to Roosevelt and also to the family, and we thank them for that, and thank the committee as well. The next item on our agenda is item number E4, Core Diploma. And let me just make just a real quick comment. I received an email late this afternoon indicating that we needed to switch this item from discussion as it was posted to action. And while I believe that there likely is consensus on the item, because we didn't have 24 hours notice to change from discussion to action, we'll have to officially take action at a subsequent meeting. But I believe that we can definitely receive the presentation tonight and ask questions and then be prepared to vote at our next meeting in May. So.
Yeah, so we will not have a formal presentation, but I am going to ask Mimi to just give the overview for the community's benefit, and the documents that have been shared with the board in a previous meeting are attached and available to the public on board docs. Mimi?
Good evening, board. Thanks for hearing me speak about the core diploma. What the idea is to offer students who are at risk of dropping out a core diploma pathway, which would be 18 credits instead of the 23 required for Des Moines Public Schools to graduate. The 18 credits still fall within the Iowa code. It meets the 433 Iowa law, meets the 256115G Iowa code. It's approved by the Iowa Department of Education as a viable diploma option for Des Moines Public School students. The traditional diploma pathway would be the goal for every student. But in a situation due to life circumstances where a student doesn't have time to complete the 24 credits, instead of dropping out, we can coach them towards the core diploma option. The alternative pathway isn't any different as far as post-secondary options for students, with the exception of attending a community college before a 4-year university. Are there any questions?
Any questions from the board? Yes, Ms. Boesen.
My thing is, I know the sheets that we got, I think when you see the credits that some school districts have versus what Des Moines has, can you explain that? Because some are showing like 40 credit or 48 credits. What does that mean versus what ours and the core diploma? So every district kind of has a different number.
Yeah, so districts are, for some reason, at the liberty to assign credits based on their own system. So for instance, in Des Moines Public Schools, a standard high school class, you receive 1 credit if it's an entire year-long class. If it's a semester-long class, you only receive half a credit. So in some districts, a semester class would equal 1 credit instead of half a credit. So when districts have over 40 credits required for graduation, it's really in the same ballpark as ours. It's just that they count them differently.
I just think some people, when they see or they hear, when
Right.
because I said something about it to my nephew's kids, and they, well, we have to have this many credits. And I'm like, you know, I think it's better to have an explanation for the public and how those credits are between the districts.
Right, so 23 credits, especially when DMPS moved to 23 credits being required, was one of the highest credit requirements in the state by the number of semester hours you needed. But since we count one credit as a year-long course, it didn't necessarily look that way when you compare numbers to numbers, because some districts give you one credit for one semester. So, yeah, easy cause for confusion.
Other questions? I'm sorry, go ahead, Rob.
Two things. I wanted to state for the record that the board got a presentation on the core diploma at a public work session last week. So
Correct.
The brevity of the presentation is appropriate for us because we've received a lot of this information and had an opportunity to ask questions and discuss it last week. I don't know that this has been fully explored in your remarks, but can you talk about the instances in which this would be pursued and the impact, if any, on students pursuing a traditional diploma?
Correct. There are many kids in our district who, due to life circumstances, can't attend school on a full-time basis. Either they're working full-time themselves, they are taking care of their own children, they are in facilities like Yes Shelter, detention centers, which take them off track from graduating within a 4-year time. And it's nearly impossible for them to graduate on time. So rather than them dropping out, we would re-engage them and have them focus on their core first. And at any point after that core is achieved, if they would like to take an extra semester to finish their elective courses, the 5 extra ones, they're free to do that. So it's just kind of making sure that we have another safety net for them so that they don't drop out or remain dropped out. And I'd like to note for the record also that we are not leading the way in this core diploma pathway. I did extensive research. Indianola Public Schools has a core diploma, Urbandale Public Schools, Cedar Falls Community School District, Waterloo Community School District, and West Des Moines Public Schools, of the many in Iowa that currently offer this to their students who are at risk of dropping out also.
So I know that Rob referenced that the board has actually already had a presentation on this the other night, but it might be helpful just to talk very briefly about identification and selection of students for participation.
We will have an application process for students. They would have to be referred from a building leader. A lead counselor is going to be assigned at each secondary location to really make sure this is the right fit for each student, as well as a building administrator would need to approve the application as well. The counselor would verify the transcript to make sure this is indeed the right pathway for the student. The student would also apply and provide a personal narrative outlining their obstacles and the barriers he or she may face. Then the student will, we are going to verify a post-secondary plan with that student. So we want to know exactly what they're going to be doing after the core diploma, whether that's employment, seeking a conversation with maybe the manager of their restaurant and seeing if there's a pathway to management, helping them apply to DMAC Community College, taking a tour of the Job Corps opportunities, anything and everything that we can do to ensure that there's a post-secondary verified pathway. We also are going to have a district student intervention team that would meet quarterly to approve or deny these applications. That would consist of myself, counseling, success, administration, special education, the at-risk coordinator, curriculum, ELL, behavior, the district registrar, and any other district personnel that would like to attend. We would then verify the transcript analysis once again with the district registrar. We would have a mandatory student and parent guardian meeting for students under 18. And then we would formally submit a personalized learning plan for that student, so they would not be able to veer off of that core pathway. And like I said, once they were up to date on their core, they're free to take a lot, the electives or enrichment courses that they would like to. We just want to make sure we're providing them a graduation option before it's too late.
And the time frame that's allowed for participation in terms of getting through?
I don't know.
I think we
We would begin screening at the end of their sophomore year, just to start
right.
getting potential applicants on the radar.
Correct.
But there wouldn't be formal application until I think it's the second semester or fourth quarter of their junior year.
Correct.
Other questions? Yes, Ms. Langford.
Some may look at this and think that this is a easy way out for some of our students, or maybe less rigorous. Could you address those concerns?
Yes. This is absolutely not less rigorous, and I would say it's more rigorous in a way because we're focusing solely on the core courses that students need by the state of Iowa to graduate. It qualifies for any Iowa State approved diploma pathway for students. So in a way, we find it to be almost more focused on the rigorous curriculum needed. The courses are the same, SRG, same seat time and everything.
Yeah, so there's not really, typically when we have students who are in danger of not graduating, the deficit in credits are in these areas, not in the electives. And in fact, I think we've corrected this, but we've had instances in the past where we've had students with enough credits in number, but not the appropriate credits. And so this really hones in on the requirements that the state has. And so those courses that some students tend to shy away from because of their rigor, they can't avoid in this. The other thing that I think it's important to note, and we've sort of talked around it, is what we want to eliminate are students who've been working really hard. They're navigating some really challenging life situations, and they get to the end of their senior year and they may be 1 or 2 credits short, and it's really difficult to swallow for all of us to say, well, Connie, you're not going to graduate because you're shy an art credit and some, an elective social studies credit, let's say. And not that those aren't important, but you've done the hard work, the stuff that the state requires, and the things that are required to get entrance into DMAC, for instance. But instead we say you can't graduate, and then you have a student who doesn't have a diploma. They've done just about everything we've asked of them to be qualified to gain entrance into a 4-year university, and that might not be in the immediate future of this student in the first place. But by not having a diploma, they can't attend DMAC. They probably won't be able to advance in their current employment because they don't have a diploma. And so it's really opening a door for more assured future opportunities, rather than just closing the door and hoping that in the next year or two, after they're past typical high school age, that they're going to complete.
And they're getting the supports they need while they're still enrolled in Des Moines Public Schools. For example, word on the street is that the high set is extremely difficult. And some of our kids still don't have those basic reading and math skills to navigate that curriculum on their own. So we still provide wraparound services, tutoring, night school, blended learning, and really the teachers and the support and the counseling and the whole staff, essentially. So we're really providing a true tier 3 pathway for students to continue on and have better lives. And follow post-secondary planning, which most of them are following as they drop out.
Additional questions or comments? Thank you, and we'll put this on the next board agenda for approval.
Action. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mimi.
The next items that we had in our board packet were information-only items, school summer meal program sites, and then award of the quote for the acoustic improvements at McKinley, Oak Park, Pleasant Hill, and Willard Elementary Schools. So with that, the next item on the agenda is the chair's report. And I just have a couple of things. Wanted to again congratulate Board Member Connie Boesen for the advocacy award that she received yesterday at United Way of Central Iowa. For those of us that were able to be there, it's a great presentation, wonderful video that really lifted up Connie's amazing work in the, how many years that you've been on the school board by now?
14.
14 years that she's been a member of this board. So it was a great way really just to not only recognize Connie's work here, but all of the amazing things she does in the community. So well-deserved and congratulations.
Thank you, and I just want to thank the board for nominating me and recognizing it was a great honor, and to a great organization that does such good work in this community. It was quite an honor and quite a surprise. So thank you for supporting me.
Absolutely, congratulations again. And Natasha has reminded us all that today is Teacher Appreciation Day, and this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. So we want to thank all of the teachers that do amazing work each and every day in this district, supporting the over 32,000 students that we have. And it goes without saying that we do indeed appreciate you, and we wouldn't be able to do what we do if it weren't for you. So thanks to all of our district teachers. And I don't think that I have anything else to report, so I'll turn it over to the superintendent.
Yeah, that was, you kind of stole my thunder there.
Oh,
This is
sorry.
national, it's fine. It's National Teacher Appreciation Week, and I just want to personally congratulate our teaching staff for all of the successes that they've encountered this year, and to just thank them for the outstanding service and nurturing and leadership they provide for not only our 33,000 students, but their families as well. Thank you.
Great. I don't have anything else. Any other board members have anything to report? Yes. Mr. Barron.
I want to note, it was brought to my attention this week that the city of Des Moines will be considering a welcoming city resolution at their city council meeting on Monday afternoon. The resolution is obviously from a city perspective, but I think follows in line with the work that this board took unanimously in February. And there have been petitions and public calls for folks to support this action. I missed Connie's luncheon yesterday because I was standing in the rain and the cold in front of the Capitol at a rally where we were also generating support for this action. So given this board's, I think, brave and selfless leadership on this issue, I wanted to make it noted publicly that the city will be considering reciprocal action on Monday at 4:30 at the
City Council?
Yeah, the wherever building it is on MLK.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I also want to thank board members who were able to go to the Latino Awards this past Sunday. I unfortunately had another commitment, but it looked like it was a overflowing crowd, full house, and a wonderful way to recognize our Latino students. And I don't know how many years that particular event or activity has been going on, but it's just really, I always enjoy it when I'm able to go. And I know Rob and Connie, you guys played a role, so I don't know if you have anything to share about the event.
Well, this is an event that's put on by LULAC Council 306, which is one of two LULAC councils based here in Des Moines. It has been ongoing for 23 years. I was there for year 4 when I was a high school senior, and have been really really humbled to come back and be a part of it since I came on the board. They recognize all graduates, high school and above, and college. Last year was a law school graduate that was honored, and then all Latino students 6th through 11th grade who have had some sort of recognition, academic, extracurricular, or even most improved. Connie was up there with me presenting these ribbons, and any board member that wants to go next year can do the same thing. The kids, as you get down the line, getting younger and younger, everybody comes on, stands on that North High stage. By the time you get down to the 6th graders, we were 5 deep, end to end of the stage with kids. And the cool thing was, I was looking at the 8th graders and the 9th graders, and we were talking, and that you can see the waves coming through the system, because the 8th graders and 9th graders that were recognized were about the size of the 6th graders a couple of years ago, which makes sense. And so we're just seeing more and more students, and it is, the balcony was full, the auditorium was full. It really speaks well of our district that we have this many families who feel so impassioned about their child's academic progress, and we're pretty lucky to have them here in this district.
Outstanding.
Yeah, it was a great event. I at one point wondered if we were going to have room left on the stage because there were so many kids. And you could just see the confidence, too, from the 6th grade to the high school kids, and how the 6th grades are very shy about coming out, and the other ones were very much, you just see not only size, but also attitude and confidence, and which is great. But it's great to see the parents' involvement. It was packed. And pretty much through the whole thing, they stayed for after their child got the ribbon, and so that's the encouraging part.
Good, that's great. So the only other thing I would just offer is Friday night, North High, Stellar Awards,
Right.
6 p.m. So hopefully we'll all come out to support our middle school students. Yes.
Sorry, one more recognition that just happened this last week was the Science Bound recognition as well, which was also, it was out at Pioneer, DuPont Pioneer, and a number of our students who are graduating from high school were recognized, as well as those who were formerly our high school students who will be graduating from Iowa State, and some incredible stories there. And the keynote speaker was
Fabulous.
yeah, she was the student speaker was a young woman who actually graduated in December and is already a chemical engineer in South Carolina, and did not speak a lick of English when she was 7 years old and in our system. So just another testament to Des Moines schools, and another great program that supports our students.
And really a thank you to Iowa State for providing that program, and it's a tremendous opportunity for our students.
Really is, really is. Lots of things to be proud about tonight, so. All right, without objection, our May 2nd meeting is now adjourned.